focus of today's conversation is an idea that I call the top 5 complaints of current owners. So one of the things that's happening with Tesla in general is that it's a fairly new car company, and there's a process that's taking place where current owners are experiencing what the vehicle is really like, in essence doing beta testing on it, and are then able to make comments about what the user experience is like as a way for others to have an understanding of what it's like to own a Tesla. So number 5, this is Greg from Tesla Fan Insight. Wie geht's u steeds nog immer als 5 Beinen? Guten Tag. Zdravstvuyte. Ni hao ma. Buongiorno, signorina. So number 5 on the list is extended repair costs. So one of the biggest sort of customer complaints at the number 5 spot is the fact that if you sustain damage to your vehicle, it can take an inordinate amount of time to have repair work done. One customer in particular that I read about his experience took 6 to 8 months to complete his repair, and his vehicle was actually drivable after the accident, but he ran out of his insurance rental car time, and I believe had to actually purchase another car as a stopgap until his vehicle was repaired, and really had to raise a stink at all levels of the company to get his vehicle repaired. So if you do end up with some kind of an accident with your vehicle, try to see if it's drivable, because if it is, it might be in your best interest to not getting any water in there by covering it, but you might be better served to keep driving if it's drivable until those parts come in. I believe that the big challenge right now is Tesla is really hard pressed with spare parts, because they're vertically integrated, which means that most of those parts are spoken for new or other vehicles. So if there's an accident, there isn't a lot of extra supply of parts that they can now hand off for repair work. At the number 4 spot comes in general, the long wait. I mean, for those trying to get a Model 3, obviously it's been a multiple year situation in terms of trying to get their vehicle purchased. At the number 3 spot is a different kind of repair issues. So one of my best friends, who's a PhD engineer, acquired number 5000 Model S from Tesla, and he's been really happy with the responsiveness of Tesla to repair issues that might have popped up on the car. But in particular, all 4 of the pop-out handles were systematically replaced individually. And on each occasion, the repair experience was good, because Tesla simply dropped off a nicer, more expensive car to his garage and took away his vehicle for repairs, so he was happy with the experience. But there is some headache and time value that goes with having so many repairs being done on the road. I believe Tesla is now addressing this with their mobile repair vehicles that they're starting off in the Bay Area, and I expect them to expand sort of this repair network across the globe to try to handle sort of routine repair issues that might pop up. In the number 2 slot, in terms of customer complaints, I have to admit I have to come back to number 2 because of the fact that sort of the number 1 complaint is sort of burning on my brain, and that is that the biggest sort of pet peeve of most of the owners that I've been exposed to, both online, etc., is what I call fit and finish. And what I mean by that is that, body panels that are rattling when driving, or sounds, or the sound system unearthing pieces of the inside of the car that are not properly attached, and so therefore it ends up being somewhat unpleasant. So in this case, the whole fit and finish, be it the sun visors that kind of don't fit properly or don't stay locked in place, etc. I think that a smart way to deal with number one is, if you have a good upholstery repair person in mind, to put them on the case, because not only is it the number one spot, but kind of in the number two spot is the fact that those that are using leather in the vehicle are seeing an inordinate amount of wear when it comes to stuff like the A-pillar and the S-class, just high wear spots where the fit and finish in terms of the stitching with the leather, etc., might be coming apart. So in general, what I found is that most people, even with these issues, are pretty happy with their vehicles and would love to have just a better execution in this regard. So my thought is that if you're expecting this and kind of see it, there's a higher likelihood, that you'll be able to dominate the issue ahead of time. And now I do recall what my number two was, and that is the number of people that I've read about who've been given information by the company employees regarding when their machine would be ready, or details given but not well executed. And that can include things like, expect this amount in your cost of electricity and that number is different, or missing deadlines on when things were stated to arrive and did not. So I think some expectations of some challenges regarding sort of on top of its salespeople is interesting. I do kind of feel sorry for the salespeople at Tesla, because I've asked questions about certain issues. For example, I asked a Washington, D.C. salesperson about what the company was going to do about what I call inner city superchargers. And the indication was that Tesla expected that, only out-of-town superchargers would exist. And then 6 weeks later, Tesla announced they were doubling the number of superchargers and putting a number of them in inner city locations, therefore contradicting that person. So I kind of feel sorry for the salespeople, because they didn't want to make a bad comment, but they don't seem to be able to anticipate at all, what future plans might be and why. I don't think anyone can do about this. There are policy changes for whatever reason, and I think that's just unfortunate. I also wanted to do this talk because I was hoping that this would spark in the comments section other things that current owners think that new owners should be aware of. And by doing so, I really think, because to some extent the first year or two of ownership is going to be somewhat of a beta testing zone, that it's a good thing to share this info with as many folks as possible. I just want to say thank you for taking time out to watch our video. We're starting to have some action here, I think. Maybe the president or somebody moving around. We're in Washington, D.C. near Union Station. Merci beaucoup. Au revoir, à tout à l'heure. Tschüss, macht's gut. Lahitro, Hoda Hafez. And please share if you'd like me to greet in your language. I'm going to take you out again with the waterfall right behind me. Thanks for taking time out, and have a great day. And we'll look forward to our next conversation.